Welcome to Friday's Digest, Season 1, Episode 10. Today I would like to discuss the 3 things I know today I wish I had known when I was 30. Do you ever have these moments where you look back on your life and just kick yourself for not realizing something 10 years ago? Some of these things you really have to experience firsthand to understand what they truly mean. It involves putting in the hard work, failing, and then, after putting in your time, you come out smarter and stronger. You had to go through this process of years after years in order to thrive. I'm not going to dive into these today. You'll pave your own path and find what you need to find at the right time. Instead, I want to talk about something else. I want to focus on the lessons you wish you had known earlier. I'm talking about the kind of stuff that you find out the hard way, where it sometimes just takes you a quick 10 minutes of struggle, and other times it takes you years or even decades to understand. But when you finally get it, you kick yourself for not realizing it sooner. You think to yourself, if only I have known these things from the get-go, everything would have been smoother. Basically, it feels like you just wasted a lot of energy on nothing. So today, I would like to share the 3 things, the 3 lessons I learned I wish I had known while I was in my 30s. The first one will be how to invest your money. The second one will be how to manage rejection and regret. And the third one will be apologizing for thinking differently. So let's start with the first one. The best investment of money is in yourself. The best investment of money is in yourself. I want you to think about where your money has gone over the years. And I'm not just talking about savings in the bank. Even in times that are tight and saving money seems like an impossible mission, you're still spending your money on something, right? You buy food, you buy clothes, you spend your money on vacations, hopefully. I'm talking about these kind of things. Now, I want you to consider these purchases as investments. Take food, for example. When you buy food, are you going for the healthy options, or are you just grabbing something quick and possibly not too great for you? You know that choosing the healthier option means you're betting on a better future for yourself, fewer sick days, and more enjoyment in life. So this is how you can invest in food, for example. The same goes for vacations. Do these trips bring you long-term happiness and good memories? So the answer to that is most likely yes. So I don't want to state out the obvious. We all know that we better buy healthier food, and we all know that vacations are good for us, hopefully. But here's the thought. I want you to start treating the money you spend on yourself as an investment, just like money you'd save in the bank. Examples. Let's go back to the clothes example. When you buy clothes, the clothes may not yield any profit, right, in the long run, since you'll probably just replace them after a few years. But what about putting time and money into your personal growth, like joining an online course, like taking up an art class, or learning how to play the piano, or a tuba, or a saxophone, or a guitar? In general, investing money in acquiring a new skill. In the long run, your future self will thank you for these investments. And if you really have to look at it from a financial perspective, the cold money perspective, more skills often lead to better earning potential. You will earn more money when you have more skills. You will get more raises than if you just simply invested your money in the bank. Take-home message from topic number 1. Topic number 1 was the best investment of money is in yourself. Our take-home message is spend money on improving your skills. Second lesson, rejection hurts for a second. Regret lasts a lifetime. Again, rejection hurts for a second, while regret lasts a lifetime. This is a huge difference between regret and rejection. This is something we tell our kids all the time. If you are faced with a decision, make the decision that will not make you regret in the long run, even if you risk yourself with rejection. Now, thankfully, I heard it from my own parents from a young age, so I really tried to stick to it growing up. But when I look back, it took me a while until I really embraced it. Really embraced it. It wasn't until pretty much later in life when I became brave enough to take big risks to avoid future regrets. The kind of risks that may lead to massive embarrassment and a hit to my reputation if things didn't work out. Okay, if I make a decision, I might end up embarrassing myself. But the alternative is not taking the action and regretting it. Regretting it is the worst thing that can happen. But it took me a while until I went full force with it. It took me a while before every single time I made the decision that didn't make me regret it later. When I think back, it finally clicked in my late 30s. In my late 30s, I went all in. From that point forward, every choice I made was guided by avoiding future regret. Examples, I reached out to experts in my field when I was just in my first or second year of residency. I proposed unconventional solutions to problems, both in research and in surgery. And I gave public lectures where I challenged the consensus. Now, in many of these occasions, I end up embarrassing myself, mostly in my own head, okay? When I talked to people afterwards, no one perceived it this way. No one thought that I embarrassed myself. But in my own mind, in my head, I felt like I'm embarrassing myself. But in the long run, I never had the moment where I looked back and said to myself, I'm really sorry I embarrassed myself. That was a bad decision. Never, ever. So if I sum up all these experiences, there were rejections and there were awkward moments, there were embarrassing moments, but overall, I gained more than I lost. And again, I have no regrets about these decisions. Now, I'm not urging you to rush out there and act on every wild thought that pops into your head and go with any crazy idea. No, of course not. I want you to use your best judgment, okay? But my rule is simple. I take risks, but the only risks I take involve potentially hurting my own feelings and my own reputation. I never, ever take risks that will hurt others. Never. Take home message. When faced with the decision between regret and rejection, you need to ask yourself, could I regret this choice later in the future? And my advice, if there is even a slightest chance you will regret it, you know this decision is wrong, and it's a sign for you to take a different decision. So that was number 2, the rejection versus regret. And that brings us to the last lesson I know today, I wish I had known in my 30s, which is don't apologize for thinking differently. Don't apologize for thinking differently. This is one of the most important lessons I wish I had known in my 30s. Of course, building confidence to openly share your opinions, even if they go against the grain, against the stream, it takes time. But even if you suspect that your point of view might be not very popular or even incorrect, there is no need to apologize for it. If you're wrong, it simply means that you now learned something new. But what is the alternative? If you look back and later realized you were right, the moment has already passed. You've missed a chance to contribute something valuable. At the least, you've lost the opportunity to be heard and possibly credited, but the worst case scenario is that a good idea might never see the light of day because you kept it to yourself. So I want you to avoid saying, I have a question, it might be a stupid question, and instead try, I might be missing something, but what if, and then state your idea. Take-home message for lesson number 3. Mind you, lesson number 3 is don't apologize for thinking differently. So our take-home message is stand your ground if you believe your idea has merit, if your idea means something, if you deeply believe in your idea. You need to share your idea. You need to ask your questions with respect and with confidence without any apologies. So these were my 3 lessons. I know today I wish I had known in my 30s. With that, we'll end today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Have a great weekend.